I hate losing. I hate losing so much, I hate it more than I love winning. And let me tell you, I love winning. It's the very first thing I think of when I wake up in the morning. How am I going to put a check in that win column? Yet, I hate losing much more than I love winning. And I'll be damned if I lose the biggest fight of my life. And that is the fight against anti-Semitism, the fight against ending Jew hatred in the world. But here's a good thing to know. There's actually a solution to the fight against Jew hatred. And all we have to do to win this fight is two things. One, we have to reclaim our identity as Jews, as Americans, and as Israelis. That's it. That's all we have to do. That's step one. Step two is recognize the status quo. So what do I mean by this? Reclaiming our identity. We need to stop apologizing. We need to tell the world, yes, we're Jews. Yes, we're Americans. Yes, we're Israelis. And I am all of those things. There is not a single thing in that list that we have to apologize for. Not one single thing. Not one. All we have to do is tell the world we are proud to be Jews. And we do that by recognizing the status quo. The reason that we have such a difficult time of actually standing up and putting our chest out and saying, yes, we are Jews and we are proud to be Jews is because for so long, we tried to be quiet. For so long, we sat on the periphery of all the civilizations that we were a part of because that was our means of surviving. But now is not the time for surviving. Now is the time for thriving. We are no longer the weak Jews of old, the Jews that everybody looked at and decided we can actually abuse these people. That time is over because the status quo changed in 1948. The status quo changed with the foundation of the modern state of Israel. Because what that did, we committed two sins when that happened in 1948. One, and this is the most important of them all, we told the world that the old Jew is no more. That Jew that you knew from the past, that you forced into ghettos, that Jew is done. Because with the modern state of Israel, we now have reclaimed our own land after thousands and thousands of years. And we're just about to celebrate the holiday of Hanukkah in about 2 weeks. When people say Happy Hanukkah, Hag Hanukkah Sameach, what they're doing is saying, congratulations, Zionist, for reclaiming your land, for decolonizing your land from the Romans. That is what the holiday of Hanukkah is about. So, the original sin in 1948, we said, no. Those Jews from 2,000 years ago that many have forgotten about, we're back now. We're the strong Jews. We are the proud Jews. We have our own homeland and we will fight to the death to defend this homeland. And so the status quo changed in 1948, and many on the right cannot apologize or cannot forgive us for that, and many on the left will absolutely never forgive us for that because we did the one thing they've been trying to do all around the world, and that is decolonize an area. We didn't just throw off the Romans 2,000 years ago, but 75 years ago, we threw out the British and we defeated an invading army, 5 different Arab armies. We defeated those and decolonized the area. And if you want to claim that the Arabs, the Muslims, are the indigenous people, I'm going to have to ask you, what do you mean when you say colonizing? When you go up against and argue against colonization, when you want to talk about colonization, I'm going to point to a map of Saudi Arabia. I'm going to ask you, where are Mecca and Medina? And then ask you, where is Jerusalem? And why is Jerusalem important to Muslims, to the religion of Islam? It's because King David, 1,000 years before the Common Era, decided that Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, was going to be his capital. That's why it became important. That is our identity. And you can't forgive us when we show the world that we've been here for not just 75 years, but for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. The Jews have been the indigenous people of Israel. And you can't forgive us for doing the number one thing that you want to do all around the world. So we have to stop apologizing for being Israelis. But this isn't just a battle between Israelis and Hamas or Israelis and the Palestinian Authority. This is a battle between Western civilization as represented by Israel and America versus the neo-Marxists, versus cultural Marxism. That is why you have the neo-Nazis on the right in the horseshoe of anti-Semitism pretty much shaking hands with the progressives on the left. Because the right believes in the age-old conspiracy theories that the Jews have power. That's what they believe, and that's where their hatred of Jews comes from. But a much more pernicious hate is what's happening on the left. Because the left says, we look at the world from power hierarchies. Who has power? Who does not have power? Those that have power, they are the oppressors. Those that don't, they are the oppressed. And that's all we ever have to look at. That's all we ever have to talk about when we figure out who is right and who is wrong. And because we're too cowardly, because we're too sad and pathetic to stand up and be proud and reclaim our identity, we allow this Jew hatred to proliferate. That's our fault. Because we don't come out and say, hey, you neo-Marxist, you who defend rape, who defend kidnapping, who defend putting babies in ovens and turning the oven up to 500 degrees, you guys are evil. Your civilization, your culture, your ideology is actually a blight on this earth. You are evil. And if you can't condemn those things, you're evil too. So now we go back to the status quo. We're afraid to say these things because we're worried about making waves. We're worried about offending people. But who are those people that we offend? If we say it's wrong to rape people, if we say it's wrong to kidnap children, if we say it's wrong to cut off the heads of Thai workers, who are we actually worried about offending? We're worried about offending those people? Take a look at the status quo. People already hate us just for being Jews. So who cares that we alienate them? We should alienate them. And then we should tell the rest of the world, look, these are the people that think rape is justified. That's why freedom of speech is such a great thing. Instead of censoring people, instead of allowing this leftist ideology to permeate American Jewry, what we need to do is let our enemies talk more. Because the more they talk, the better we look. And we look pretty damn good without them. But all we have to do is shine the light on them. Turn it around and say, look at the people you refuse to condemn. They think rape is okay. Rape is never okay. Kidnapping children is never okay. What world are we living in? What are we telling people if we're too afraid to stand up for ourselves and say, not only are we on the right side, but you are on the wrong side? And we have the same problem here in America because cultural Marxism is everywhere. It's in the colleges, it's in the universities, it's on media, legacy media, and it's on social media. And because the left has made it too taboo to speak the actual truth about so many things, we're afraid to do it. We're afraid to say the things that must be said. But no more. Prior to October 7th, the vast majority of violent assaults against Jews were committed by other minorities. Minorities which, by the way, vis-a-vis the Jews, are actually in the majority. So, why are we afraid of saying, hey, black Americans, stop beating the hell out of us in the streets. Stop beating the hell out of Jews that look like Jews and their only crime is being Jews. Why are we afraid to say that? And if we are afraid to say that, do we even deserve people to come on to our side? Because what do we stand for if we're too afraid to say that? We don't stand for anything if we're too afraid to say that. So what are we trying to do right now? We need to reclaim our identity, and more than anything else, we need to speak the truth. That's it. If you have a problem with what I'm saying, if you think what I said earlier was Islamophobic, you don't have a problem with me. You have a problem with radical Islam. My problem is with people that think it's okay to perform clitorectomies. My problem is with people that think it's okay to kill gay people. My problem is with people that think it's okay to subjugate women and not let them drive. Because that's what's on the other side of this war. And guess what? I will never, ever, ever apologize for pointing out that that side is the bad side. And I will never apologize for saying my side is the good side. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech, all the freedoms that are endowed upon us by our Creator, as it says in the Declaration of Independence. America is great. Now, does America have problems? Of course it does. But so does every other country in the world. In the history of the world, you want to talk about slavery in America, the original sin of America? I agree with you. But I'm not going to apologize for it. I've never enslaved anybody. And if we're talking about the countries that got rid of slavery before any other, it's the Western civilization countries. It's the United Kingdom. It's Britain. It's France, although France did go back and forth with their slavery. And it's America, which fought a war which killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. That is what I know. And I know that there's slavery in Africa right now, that there's slavery in Qatar right now. But even going back a couple of hundred years, I also know that slavery was everywhere. Because slavery is one of the two oldest institutions in the world. Prostitution and slavery. They've been around forever. So when I talk about reclaiming your identity, that also means reclaiming your history. Gaining knowledge, gaining strength and power from not being ignorant. From pointing out, yes, Mecca and Medina, not that close to Jerusalem. So when you want to talk about colonizing powers, I'm going to ask you, how was the Arab conquest? I'm going to point out that there are other places around the world that are terrible. And you want to know why? It's because we are humans, and humans are terrible. Humans are awful people. And the conquerors have been conquered. And the conquered have been conquerors. Because that is the story of the world. So when people want to bemoan the existence of America and say that we stole this from the Native Americans, I'm going to ask which tribe and where and who did they steal that land from? But I'm not going to say that as if it's something that was done incorrectly or evil by the Native Americans, because that's the history of the world. And I'm not nearly ignorant enough to make me feel bad, or to allow you to make me feel bad about history. So I don't apologize for being an American, for being a representative of Western culture. You want to call me white? I don't care. You say white as if it's an insult. It's my skin color. It's an immutable characteristic. The amount of melanin that I have or that you have means absolutely jack all. Because white doesn't mean good, nor does it mean bad. The same way that black doesn't mean good, nor does it mean bad, or Asian, or any other thing. It's just about how you act. And we need to be able to tell the rest of the world, this is who we are. We are the Jews. We recognize that the status quo has changed, that you hate us both on the right and on the left for no longer being the weak Jews of old. We are now the proud Jews. We are now the strong Jews who refuse to apologize for being who we are. Unless you all want to apologize for being who you are, and I don't want that, I'm never going to apologize. Guess what? Even if you do apologize for being who you are, I'm still not going to. Because I know who I am. I am an American Israeli Jew whose last name is Donnelly, right? My people haven't exactly had it easy, but I don't care. I don't abide by critical race theory or diversity, equity, and inclusion. I refuse to be seen as a victim because that generates weakness. It generates cowardness, and I'm not ever going to do that. It's never going to happen. If we give in to this victim mentality, if we ask the world, please bring us under the umbrella of DEI, that's going to lead to our downfall. And I am not going to let that happen. Because I want to win this fight against anti-Semitism, and we're not going to end Jew hatred if we pretend to be victims. We're not victims. We're Americans or we're Israelis, but more than anything else, we're Jewish. And that means we're not victims. We have had instances in our past where we have been victimized, but as we sit here, as we stand here today in 2023, you can victimize us, but we're not victims. We're proud. We're strong. We're going to stand up and tell the world, bring it. You want to try to kill us? Congratulations. People have been trying to do it for literally millennia, and nobody has succeeded. That is what it means to be a Jew. The fact that no matter what you throw at us, it's not going to work. Those are our original sins from 1948. We're no longer the weak Jews. We're the decolonizers. We are the people that have told the rest of the world, you're dealing with a brand new Jew. That's it. You want to make Jew hatred a thing of the past? Mock the people that hate us. You, the progressives, who believe that you have come up with something new, you just came up with Jew hatred. That's what you came up with. The fact that you hate the Jews in a new form? Congratulations. You, the progressives, came up with a thing that's been around for literally 3,000 years. So congratulations to you. You have done nothing new. You have nothing to be proud of. You are the ones that subjugate women. You are the ones that kill gays. And you are the one that are defending rape. That's your side. My side believes in freedom. My side believes in the Judeo-Christian values that the West is founded upon. Because those values have brought more freedom and more prosperity to anywhere else in the world. Has it been perfect? No. But nothing anywhere is ever perfect. Welcome to humanity. And I know that because I'm not stupid, I'm not ignorant, so I can say that with the utmost confidence. So no, I'm never, ever, ever going to apologize for being an American, for being an Israeli, or for being a Jew. You're never going to get me to apologize for any of those things. Starting today, we're no longer merely surviving. We are thriving. And if we thrive, we will end Jew hatred. We will win this fight against anti-Semitism. So don't wait any longer. Refuse to zip your lips. Start talking. Start speaking the truth and letting the world know the most important truth of all. You can continue to hate us for being Jews and being Americans and being Israelis, but we're no longer apologizing for it because we have nothing to apologize for. Long live the nation of Israel. Am Yisrael Chai.